Hey Kev,
What?
instead of mailing letters to Santa, you can just mail them to Blizzard and they'll give you concept art.
Let's get into it.
So, have you actually heard about this?
No.
Yeah, so what happened was this girl, Shane Hickey's kid, we'll toss the picture up right here. It is right there, right now.
On your face, yeah.
Yeah, right, covering my face, actually. Anyway, so she made up this fake character for Overwatch called Birst, and it was really cute, and it was like something that you put on the fridge or whatever. Anyway, he posted it to Twitter, and I guess they liked it over at Blizzard because they did up a whole concept art treatment and everything. They said it's not going to be an actual character, but still, it looks cool, and it's cool that they did that. Honestly, it kind of seems like a good attempt at marketing, which I think has worked out well for them.
Move, yeah.
And I mean, you and I were talking about it. Concept art for that, probably about a day. Realistically, that's pretty cheap marketing.
Yeah,
so
it's true.
I'm curious. So something like that is that kind of outreach, is that good on the part of the consumer? Aside from it being a good deed, like, it implies that there's some type of connection between the consumer and the developer, right?
Yeah.
Which, is that healthy? Because I personally think the consumers don't always really know what they want. So, you know what I mean? Just in the nature that people are. So what do you think of that coming from more of an insider perspective than myself?
I don't know. Like, we've definitely seen a lot more kind of consumer relations with game companies and stuff. And I think a lot of it has definitely been really healthy. You know, the game designers actually talking about, why they're making, like, balancing changes, for example. And stuff like that. And it's definitely, it helps the community to feel a lot more connected to the developers and heard and stuff. Yeah, that's definitely really, really good. But yeah, kind of like as you were alluding to, there's a lot of kind of, people don't actually really know what they want. Sometimes. And the game designers are definitely in a better position to make decisions regarding the games than the player base is, because the player base doesn't have the full context ever. And yeah, we see it a lot. I think Blizzard's actually one example of people who get in trouble with this.
Oh, really?
A lot. Because they've always had the forums, and they've had kind of their moderators, like their actual staff, like kind of community managers, always talking on the forums and being transparent and stuff.
Right.
It's always really great for the players to have that openness, all that information and stuff. But there's other times where they talk about, oh hey, here's stuff we're doing, and later on they have to be like, yeah, we're not doing that anymore. And people get upset.
Right. Yeah, because that's kind of, from what I understand, that's very inherent in game design. There's like a million projects that just get canned, kind of, and they never see the light of the day. Even projects that get very close to cert, you know what I mean? That just are like, nah, we're not going to do that.
Yeah, I had a coworker telling me a story. There's some people he knew, and they developed a full entire game. I think it was like a baseball game or something.
It went gold?
It went gold. The day before it was supposed to be sold, canceled.
Why?
Only because of licensing, I believe. Otherwise, it would have been sold. But yeah, the company went under, and that messed up the legality of the license.
Did the game ever get released?
No.
Never. So it's just, that's interesting. That probably happens more than, I mean, you would know, right?
Yeah.
You would know.
Oh, it definitely happens. But yeah.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
It's pretty crazy. Stuff like that happens, but like on those big levels, but it happens all the time with like much smaller things. Like,
and
usually you plan for like 150% of what the game is, and then you have to chop that last third that you don't get to do.
And that's part of the problem with the transparency, and I think we're really seeing some backlash from that from Kickstarter projects.
Yeah.
Kickstarter projects involving games, because
they have to be transparent.
Yeah, exactly. People don't understand that, like, hiccups happen a lot in games. Like, it's just things fall through, they don't get out on time, something is just broken and you need to fix it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, I mean, it happened with Tim Schafer when he released Broken Age in 2 parts. People were freaking out, which, realistically, they got a fantastic product. There's nothing to freak out about. Broken Age is a great game, but whatever. And same thing happened with Molyneux.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know.
A lot of it's like expectations. Like, especially when you're talking about like ideas and concepts, like it's really easy to actually sell that to be larger than what it's going to end up being.
Especially when you have someone inexperienced, and I think we saw a lot of that in the earlier days of Kickstarter, where people would be like, I'm gonna make this game that's gonna be like nothing you've ever seen before.
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason it's by nothing you've ever seen before. It's impossible. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You can tell a good story, but you can't make a game, so...
Exactly. As long as you convince people to get you money.
Yeah, well, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. Yeah, it's kind of funny, but it does kind of swing both ways, though. You know, when the developer is more open, they also hear kind of more stupid stuff.
Yeah.
And the more and more that stupid stuff you hear, like, as like being on the designer side, you'll kind of get more of this mentality of like, they don't know what they want. You know,
Right.
you get that mentality really cemented in. That's another example. Blizzard was, you know, Mike Morhaime talking about legacy servers, like servers on the old expansions of World of Warcraft, and him saying, no, you don't want that. You think you want it, but you don't.
Well, there was a lot of Nostalgia's players,
Yeah,
so...
so it's really been proven wrong.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, it does kind of go both ways where, you know, sometimes the developers kind of sell too much, other times they don't sell enough because they think they know better.
Right. In my mind, not so much recently, but more back in the day, a company that I think kind of nailed it was Valve. The way that they were very open and like mods would end up becoming games. You know what I mean? That's crazy. Like,
Well, they
that's
just embrace.
That's cool.
That was a great way to like embrace the community. Usually they were
and
like
get some really good talent.
really secretive about games before they came out, but once the games
Yes.
came out, then they were just like, you know, they're just part of the community. They brought the community in, and
Yeah.
did lots of stuff with them, and that's great.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's truly intriguing stuff. I got to make a comment on it. You said goes both ways twice, Kev. What are you hinting at here, bud?